We got G. Gordon Liddy outside the studio. We should get him in here. We got him for about a half hour, Anthony.
Holy jeez.
What?
I'm just thumbing through his book, and I'm petrified. God. Got a book out, Fight Back, Tackling Terrorism, Liddy Style. Know what that involves.
Yeah,
Kicking
we
some
do.
ass. Mr. Liddy, how are you, sir?
I'm good to go and ready to launch. How about
Ready
you?
to go.
A legend. A pleasure to meet you there.
Absolutely.
We had you on the phone once.
Yeah.
Are you still doing a show on XM?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
The Ask channel.
The Ask channel, you got a show?
Yep.
When is that on? Just get the plug out of the way so people can hear you, you know?
I think it's noon to 3.
Yeah. Well, at least he's doing a real show. Some of these guys that do their shows on XM, it's like, when do you do your show? Well, it's a 15-minute show, and it's from 12:15 to 12:30. It's like, wow, that must be a piece of cake.
We talked to Dale Earnhardt Jr. yesterday. He does a half-hour show.
Half-hour show.
We want that contract.
Yeah.
Well,
We got 4 hours to roll here.
he's used to moving fast.
Yeah, it's true.
Is he
G. Gordon Liddy.
gonna beat us up if we are bad or something?
He could.
Your security guy?
Yeah, my security guy.
Yeah.
I guess so.
I guess so. I guess so.
20 years as a Navy SEAL commando in 37 different countries.
Holy crap.
You did?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I know.
He's retired now.
I went to the gym on Tuesday.
Wow. Yeah, you must have seen a little bit of action then, I'm sure.
Yeah, I can't go into that, though.
Hey, no problem.
It's okay.
I'm not going to ask.
We really don't need to know.
He
not
was,
gonna
he was,
ask.
he was
I don't know nothing.
called, what they call a black operative, and they're not referring to race.
Right, right.
No, these guys
Black
show up on
Ops.
time.
I'm
I like these are the guys that get the job done.
I'm a black ninja, so we probably have something in common.
Oh,
Probably.
yeah, I'm sure you're just putting the fear into him there, Opie. Yeah. He could take you out without even moving.
I know.
You could fling his watch over there and take your head off.
He's using mind control as we speak.
Mr. Liddy,
Sir.
you got a book?
That's right.
Now, who is this directed at?
It's directed at the American public.
Like everybody?
In
Can
my
use,
view,
use this?
the American public, first of all, has no idea how vulnerable we all are.
I think
all
we
our
all got a pretty
institutions
good
are.
idea back 9/11.
Well, then their memories are short because they're.
That's what I've noticed too, and that pisses me off,
Yeah,
by
it
the
really
way.
does. And the other thing is that once we alert them to all these different vulnerabilities in the book, and which, by the way, was co-authored by my son, then we tell you, you don't have to just sit there and tremble in fear. There are things you couldn't do, and indeed, if you're the head of a family, or if you've got a company or something like that, your employees really are your family. You're morally obligated to do things, and this book will tell you what you can do. There's one whole section of it in the rear there that has to do with medical things. Neither my son or I felt that we should be giving medical advice, so there's a very famed doctor who wrote that section.
Mm-hmm. And that is what type of medical advice would you even need in a book about fighting
Well, if
back?
you're talking about bioterrorism, chemterrorism, all
talking
these
about
things,
anthrax.
Oh, so this is
smallpox.
Yeah.
Isn't there a fine line
Botulism.
between being able to pursue your life and your liberty and pursuit of happiness here in this country and paranoia? Because I was thumbing through the book a little bit, and some of the chapters scared the shit out of me. I was like,
Well,
that
then
it almost
we achieved
seemed,
our purpose.
It almost seems like a paranoia, but if you think about it, it makes sense. So you kind of like I'm on the fence about the whole thing. I could go either way.
Well,
I could skip through life with my shoelaces untied, or barricade myself in the house.
Well,
with
one
a
of
lot
the things
weapons.
you have to decide, depending upon what the threat is whether you flee or whether you do what we call shelter in place. And if you're going to do either one of those things, you need to be prepared to do it. If you have to do it now and you're not prepared, it's too late.
Yeah. Now, what you think everybody in this country should have some kind of a plan?
Yes,
and be
absolutely.
prepared for
and they should rehearse it. They should
rehearse it.
Yeah.
And as the neighbors just think you're kooks, right?
Well,
but they're the ones banging on that shelter door like the Twilight Zone episode. Let us in!
Yeah, there you go.
So they should have a plan in action or written up and practice it?
In practice. Well, it's just like the insurance companies correctly advise all families to do, is to have some rope ladders in the house from the second floor and to practice fire drill. I mean, when I was a school kid, we used to have fire drills. I don't know whether they do anymore because this public school system is so screwed up. I don't know if they can spell fire.
Sometimes it's better they just burn down some of these schools anyway. I don't think
so long
just
as
lock the doors.
As long as there's nobody in them, it's all right.
The chains on the doors.
Hillary Clinton claims that she's going to be really tough on terrorism, and it's pretty known that you're a supporter of Hillary.
Yeah. Well, the problem with Hillary is, with terrorists, you got to find them first, and Hillary couldn't find Monica, so I don't know if she can find a terrorist.
Now, what do you think about finding the terrorists? We always seem to get the number 2 guy and the number 3 guy. What about the name players, the marquee guys? Where are they? Do you agree with the way the government's handling trying to find these guys, or would you go about it Liddy style, a little different?
Well, first of all, I'm not the guy who knows how the government is doing what it's doing right now. He is, but he can't talk about it.
I understand that.
This guy knows all.
I'm not going to ask him either.
He knows exactly where Osama is.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Shut up, because even speculating will have us all killed.
Not
or they'll make us go hunting with Dick Cheney.
So,
how awful is it when people like me try to have like a man-to-man chat with you about like terrorism, like just some fucking mope from Jersey, like, dude, what they need to do, and you want to just spit in my face?
Yeah, how many times have you had to sit there and listen to drivel that you know is drivel, and keep your mouth shut, maybe bite your lip a little bit, use some of that discipline?
Often.
Yeah,
very
you just
often.
hear a lot of garbage.
I will tell you, though, that there are a lot of very talented people out there that are looking for the key individuals, and it's not as easy as people think, because the area that, if we're talking about bin Laden right now, is similar to Colorado, only with much less of the forestry. And he's gotten smart because we have lots of equipment that we're able to track any kind of communications if he's using any kind of what we call MASENT, a bunch of different types of signals. And that got given up. It was reported, and so now he's basically surrounded by very few people, and he literally lives in caves.
Do you think it's almost good that we haven't gotten him? Because it seems to me like, with so many eyes looking for him and him still out there, he really doesn't have the power or communication he needs to pull off another 9/11 type terrorist act. Not that we don't have plenty other guys to worry about, but
a lot of other people.
Yeah, but it seems to me like Osama's one of those guys that's kind of in a stalemate position right now, where he's not quite as dangerous as maybe some other guy who would take over for him if we were to get him.
The president of Iran.
Exactly.
Yeah. See.
There's another lunatic. Oh boy! I mean, the president of Iran. I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but he believes that a 5-year-old boy who disappeared in the 11th century is living down at the bottom of a well that's over there, and he sends messages to that boy down in the bottom of the well. And he listens to what the boy tells him. And what the boy is telling him is that he, the imam, will come back. They will reestablish the caliphate. The Muslims will take over the world. But this can only be done. And he won't come out of the well unless and until there is war and chaos, and specifically the destruction of Israel.
Yeah.
And so this guy believes God is commanding him to destroy Israel. And the minute he gets an atomic bomb, this nitwit will try.
Let me ask you a question, because I've talked to somebody about this, and one argument that was raised is that he's kind of doing what Kim Jong-il is doing, which was trying to get people to notice him and get a relationship going. Because why would he? I mean, obviously he's a religious fanatic, but why would he play his hand so obviously and so quickly when he doesn't even have a bomb yet, knowing the entire world is going to focus on him and Israel is going to want him hitting reactors?
He's very close to achieving a bomb, first of all. And he does not seem to be disposed to listen to the UN any more than anybody else listens to the UN. Kofi Annan does not impress him. And from his perspective, he is being logical. And that is, he says, look, sure, Israel can come back and kill millions of us, but there are billions of us, and the Germans didn't leave that many Jews. So, we can wipe out the Jews, and we can absorb that loss, because after all of us who are going to be killed are going to go right up and get the 72 virgins. He doesn't realize, of course, that God has a sense of humor, and all 72 virgins are middle-aged Roman Catholic nuns. He doesn't know that.
All fat chicks.
The joke's on you.
Where did the number 72 come from, by the way?
That comes from the Quran.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. If you look at the Quran, it's a really bloody thing. There's constant stuff about, you shall hate the Jews, you shall hate the Christians, they are your enemy, kill them, slaughter them, all this kind of stuff. There isn't a single passage anywhere in there about forgiveness or anything of that sort.
No.
Yeah, it's just
but it
bloody.
seems everybody kowtows to them and treats that religion as if they are this. There are good Muslims out there that when their whole religion is based on this violence and genocide.
Right. Look, there's Catholics who don't go to Mass, there's Protestants who don't go to services, there's Jews who don't go to synagogue, and I'm sure there's Muslims, who don't go to the mosque and aren't ready to, rip the throats out of Jews. But the fact is, the practicing ones, and that's, by far the majority, that's their religion. That's what they believe God commands them to do.
Do you think the world is kind of seeing them for what they are?
Yeah, when we're starting to wake up.
I mean, when you have a comic that comes out, a cartoon that comes out that starts violence up like it has been in the past week or 2 weeks or whatever it's been.
Well, that was very contrived, Opie. Now remember that cartoon.
Anthony.
That's Anthony.
Oh, Anthony. I'm sorry.
That's
okay.
Right. Red-haired Opie.
Red hair Opie.
Yeah.
Good.
Italian guy Anthony.
Anthony. Okay.
A lot of people make that same mistake, believe it or not.
Were you the one that put the tape on the door over there at the hotel?
No, it was guys working for me.
Oh, okay. I was wondering.
At any rate, I've forgotten what I was talking about.
The cartoon.
The cartoon,
yeah.
Actually came out in like last September, and nothing happened, and the agitators took those and then added to them, fake cartoons, and then went around and went to Syria and places like that and said, look what the infidels have done now, and got them all worked up. It's really contrived.
Yeah, well, they seem to be coming out of the woodwork, burning down Western businesses, and I think even stupid Europe has to open their eyes and see that there is a problem here.
Well, yeah, I think the Spanish realize there's a problem.
The Spanish have. By stupid Europe, I mean France. That's pretty much what I mean. I don't like just singling one out, but I mean France. And
the experts
Germany.
at preemptive surrender.
Yeah, sometimes Germany. I was watching, switch subjects a little bit. I was watching The Aviator the other day, and it led me to do a little research on Howard Hughes. And I never knew there was a link between Howard Hughes and the Watergate break-in.
Yes.
What was? They really didn't get into it. I couldn't get much info on that. What was the deal there?
It wasn't so much the Watergate break-in; it was the overall intelligence operation, and we had received information that Howard Hughes had some dealings, out there in Vegas with a certain newspaper publisher. And the publisher had a safe, and the safe had information in it that would be valuable politically to us and would be valuable also to Howard Hughes. So I and my partner, Howard Hunt, went out to California and met with the top officials representing Hughes. And we said, look, we have a community of interest here.
Community of interest.
And we have the techniques and mechanics to be able to go into this safe. And you've got the jet aircraft that can, banish us out of the desert. And we formed a plan. But it fell through when either they couldn't make the jet available or there was a problem about the jet.
Mm-hmm.
So that was what that was.
That was
about.
pretty much his involvement there, because I know he was a pretty big Nixon supporter.
Yeah, well, I mean, but he wasn't doing it as a Nixon supporter. It was in his interest to find out certain things that were in that safe.
That were in that safe, right?
Was out. Different things, but same interest, same safe.
A lot of dealings of that sort went on back then.
Sure.
It's still going on now.
Sure.
Yeah. Just different cast of characters.
Yeah, that's about right.
Do you miss that life? I mean, obviously you're very successful now, but I mean that it seems to me that was excitement, danger, that kind of thing.
Well, I don't miss it because I still have a pretty exciting life. I mean, I ride my Harley 2,500 miles out to Sturgis every year. These are Israeli paratrooper wings. I last jumped out of a C-130 over Israel, leading the stick when I was 73. I'm on Fear Factor next May 23rd.
That Rogan's an animal, isn't he?
What is he going to make you eat?
They don't do that anymore. They have gross out stuff,
Yeah.
but they don't do the eat thing anymore.
It's not so much
I don't know
eat.
why.
I've seen him. It's a lot of picking up things with your mouth
Yeah.
and dropping them off. But
Yeah.
Oh,
And then,
they really did stop the eating
I
thing?
think
I'm
so.
going to Iraq in a couple of weeks.
You are?
Yeah.
Go see the troops.
Yeah.
That's got to be
So
an inspiration.
I
like that.
I'm not sitting around on my ass bored.
Yeah. No, I understand that. It's just, it seems to me when you're meeting with Howard Hughes for some clandestine safe break-in, that kind of stuff, that's the secret agent stuff. That
Well, the neat thing about it is, now, 30 some odd years later, I can talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
My son, who's Jim over here, who's done far more interesting things, he can't talk about it.
Yeah.
It's got to be frustrating.
He's going to have
him.
to wait and get a talk show and hopefully not have to go through everything you went through. I don't think jail is a good good
when do you
thing.
get to talk about things?
Jail was interesting, though.
That's
That
gotta
was
be-
really interesting.
I don't doubt it.
That's going to be tough for him that he's got all this crazy stuff that he's done in his life. He can't tell a soul, basically.
So disciplined, Opie.
but when
To
can
keep
you
his
talk
mouth shut.
about stuff like that? On your deathbed? I mean,
I think once some of the things that I did, some of the, their code word, and if they release it, the earliest would be 25 years.
25 years. Anything really cool? Just
Yeah.
nod. Yeah?
Yeah.
Can you say it in pig Latin?
Yeah, they'll never figure it
But
out.
it does
How
hap-
impressed
it does
would we
happen.
be?
I was involved. I was involved in one of the big ones. Read in by the agency and all that stuff. And it subsequently was declassified and released. Project Jennifer, which was the
I go
retrieval.
through that every 3 months. I write a huge check to the ex-wife named Jennifer. Project Jennifer stinks.
Well, this was the retrieval of a Soviet submarine from the bottom of the sea. In the
Now, I
Pacific.
think Hughes was involved in that, too.
As a matter of fact, he was.
Yeah. They actually contracted him to build the friggin' submersible
Yeah, it was-
and
no,
the
it was called the-
platform that was supposed to hide the whole thing.
Yeah, it was called the Glomar Explorer.
Why would you guys, saying all of you, put so much trust in a guy that kind of was a little kooky for such a sensitive operation, especially at the time, retrieving a Soviet submarine?
Yeah, well, he had his peculiarities, but he was a genius at what
Yeah.
he did. And, we want to tap into that genius. The aircraft that he came up with, were really remarkable. And
State of the art.
when you when you think of like in World War II, when it began, the most advanced plane in the world was the Messerschmitt. The Messerschmitt, in 1935 it came out. It had automatic leading edge slats against the stall.
Yeah, it was just for the German defense. As Europe sat there going, yeah, they got to defend themselves with these friggin' attack bombers.
Yeah,
Great job.
But they,
Stupid
it was,
Europe,
it
and
was
again, France.
it was a remarkable airplane, and
Yeah.
it was years ahead of everything else. Eventually we caught up and exceeded. But that German equipment was very good.
Now, this Operation Jennifer, I didn't finish that one. Did you guys pull that off? Were you able to get that sub up? Or
Well, what we did was we put out a story that said we got part of it, but we didn't get the part that had what we wanted. That's the story that we put out.
Right.
I mean, why tell them?
Yeah. What was the cover? You said you were going after something.
Going after nodes of nickel on the floor of the sea.
What a ridiculous cover story. We need these nodes of nickel on the bed of the sea, and it's right around where the Soviet sub sank.
Captain Bligh dropped his contact lenses.
That's great. Just amazing. Oh, boy. The Soviets must have been pretty PO'd at that one, huh?
Well, I mean, I guess by the time they found out, I guess there wasn't any Soviet Union anymore.
Wow. Yeah, well, at the time, they had no clue that you guys were going after
this
thing?
They thought that their boat was so deep that it was irretrievable.
Oh, that no one could get it,
no
right.
one could get it. And
yeah. Ha-ha, showed them again.
Well.
Was it fun having such a great enemy like the Soviet Union? I mean,
well,
and I don't mean fun like ha-ha, jolly laughs.
No, but I'll tell you what's important about the distinction now. The Soviets were our enemy. Mm-hmm. They were very clever, and some of their technological stuff was terrific that the KGB deployed and so on. But the Soviets weren't crazy; they were rational, and so you could plan something and say, okay, these are rational people; they're not going to be stupid, they're not suicidal, and something like that. This bird over in Iran and some of these other ones, they are not rational; they're Looney Tunes, and
old tactics don't work.
Well, I mean, if they're actually sending their 16, 17-year-old sons and daughters to go blow themselves up. I don't know if you've ever seen photographs of the mess that makes, and then they think it's great, up there with the 72 virgins and all of that stuff.
At least with the Soviet Union, there was a line of communication open.
Sure
there always seemed to be a bargaining. We'll remove these missiles. You remove these. Don't put them here. There was a rational conversation that kept us from bombing each other for years.
You not only had your regular lines of communications. You had back channel communications.
Mm-hmm.
Because they weren't crazy. They didn't want to get blown up anymore.
Right.
We want to get blown up.
But they don't seem to care these days. It's
we got
totally different.
I want your opinion on something. The Bin Laden message recently when he came out, and he said something about building an Afghanistan government with the West. There was like two lines of thinking on that. One is that he was like asking for some sort of truce because he's getting his face kicked in, and two, that Islam has this weird religious thing where before you commit some type of a horrific act, you have to give your enemy some type of a warning, which is speculation that he had like a suitcase nuke.
Well, no, their religion says that when you confront an infidel is any non-Muslim, Jew, Christian, or anything like that, or purported Muslim who doesn't buy into your, radical version of Muslim, that you have these different options. First, you have to offer them conversion. You become one of us, and you're cool.
That's going to happen.
Yeah. The next thing you offer them is to live amongst them as dimini is the word, and what that means is you're not a slave, but you're like a 15th class citizen. You don't have many rights and everything, but we'll let you live.
Like Iraq over here, our producer.
Yeah, right. Treat him like that. And then the last thing is, if the guy doesn't buy it, well, then you must kill him. You must kill him.
Wow, that's quite a drop-off. Jeez, how many choices.
Welcome to the club. You're a slave or you're dead. Your choices.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
Lovely people.
How about one more step in between, please? Give us one more choice.
Unbelievable. So how... well, obviously, through fighting back, tackling terrorism Liddy style, this is pretty much our only recourse is to defend ourselves as best we can from these people.
There's a lot of things you
can
do.
There's,
there's a lot of things you can do, but I mean, like we happen to be in a port city right now. We're in New York and Baltimore and places like that are port cities.
Primary targets.
And there's thousands of these containers being unloaded from container ships.
This is scary stuff, yep.
Absolute tops, 20%, have had any kind of screening at all. And any one of them could have a nuclear bomb or contain contaminants that could wipe out people. I mean, they're not even being... And there's no there's no sense of urgency about it. The people aren't clamoring, saying to Congress, for heaven's sake.
Logistically, is it feasible to even start some kind of an inspection program on these things? I mean, because the sheer number of these things that come into the ports are amazing.
Jim, this is a technical question. Why don't you respond to that?
Sure. The smart thing to do is start looking and investigating what's going into the containers when they're being loaded. And that's simple tracking mechanisms.
Isn't that a little difficult in some of these countries that we're kind of with?
Well, if you want to trade with the United States, the largest market in the world, you've got some leveraging power.
All right.
And so you do that. The point is, don't let it get close to the port. Because if you get a nuke into a port, besides the nuke, you get the tidal wave also. So you're finished. It's too late. You need to start when they're being packed. And you need to follow what they call the value chain. Every way you want to make sure that these containers are not being affected or tampered with.
It seems to me that greed a lot of times outweighs security, and if a country is faced with you will not be able to export your goods to the United States unless we're able to inspect your containers, I can't see the United States government saying that and losing revenue by saying something like that.
I mean, you have to have the will to do it, and it is our national security.
I'd like to see it.
What is our government here for?
Yeah, well, I'd like to see it, but I don't see it.
The government is here to persecute Opie and Anthony.
Well, not here on satellite radio for now, anyway. Which thank God
we got
for
total
that.
freedom here.
So what did you think Bin Laden's message was? That was what I wanted to ask you.
No,
An offering, or was he really just getting his face kicked in?
I think he's feeling the pressure, and he was being consistent with his religious beliefs. The problem is that area of the world is, in diplomatic terms, they call it, not responsive to a central government. Mm-hmm. He's up there in warlord territory. It's like there's certain parts of Africa where you don't want to go. You go up in certain parts of Africa and you say Kawanza, and they'll put a spear through you immediately.
Machete you to pieces.
Yeah.
Well, the phones. We got to get a few of these calls on. Mm-hmm. Larry in New Jersey, what's up?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey.
Liddy, with what you were talking about the ports, there was a big story recently in the Times about the 6 ports that were sold to the United Arab Emirates. Don't you think that's going to make it easier for them to bring in?
Okay, what that's about is that there was a company that was a UK-based, British company. What the company did was manage and administer ports, and that company was sold to a company that operates out of the United Arab Emirates. And I don't think that they're going to, the United Arab Emirates are going to be really stupid and try to do something like that. But you got to watch them anyway. I mean, when President Carter gave the Panama Canal to the Panamanians, I don't think he anticipated that a Chinese company, which is a front for Chinese intelligence, would now be operating and controlling both ends of the Panama Canal.
Yeah, good move. Good move. Jesus.
All right, let's go to Hangman in Wisconsin. Hangman!
Hey, I got a question for G. Gordon Liddy.
Yeah.
Is it true that when you used to go to parties that you could actually hold a lighter under your arm until the skin would burn?
I could, but it was not something that I did as a party trick. I did that once to recruit an agent, a female agent out of working for the other side, and she said, "Well, I'm frightened. What happens if I get caught?" I said, "Well, nobody's going to know, because the only two people in the world who will know are you and me. You're not going to tell on yourself, and nobody can make me tell on you." And she said, "They can make anybody talk." And I said, "No, they can't." And I demonstrated it. That's all.
Okay.
Wow. Let's go to Shwuggy. Shwuggy, what's up?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Hey.
Hey, real quickly. Gee, I met you about 20 years ago when you were doing your college tour with Abby Hoffman.
Oh,
yeah. And two things I'll never forget. One is I briefly met you on stage, and number one, Jim, you'll like this. You have the most luscious blue eyes. But I just remember that...
I don't have blue eyes. I don't know who you're thinking about.
Well, I just remember you were very nice, but I just remember that if I got the least bit out of line, how quickly you could kill me. But anyway, you told this story about how once you killed a guy, by shoving a knife between a guy's shoulder, right between that skin, that space in between your clavicle, and what you did. Could you just repeat that story?
Yeah, except I did not say that I had killed the guy. That's a foolish thing to do.
That's one thing
you don't make admissions against interest. What I did was explain how to kill someone that way. If you take your finger and put it to the side of your neck, there's a hollow there. Feel that little hollow?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you slide a knife down there, you rock it this way and that way, and the heart's sliced, and they're gone.
I've heard you a lot of time. I've heard you being questioned about killing and stuff, and he never fesses up to that because there's no statute of limitations on killing.
Right.
So he
exactly
never.
Right. The big S you see up here does not stand for simple.
How many though? Just give us a little.
He's never gonna fess up to that. One thing that your average American can do, probably what would you consider the most important thing that the average American or American family can do to protect themselves in this day and age?
Well, I'll tell you. I'll give you one, and then we'll see if Jim has one. He may have the same. The first thing is you've got to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, and something happens, it's too late then, to try to plan, because you won't be properly equipped or anything. So you have to have a plan.
I hate to pick it apart, but what's the most important part of a family's plan against a terrorist attack? I mean,
well, go ahead, Jim.
Well, first of all, I think is be aware of what the attack is. If it was a bio event, if it's a chemical event, or if it's an explosion or something else of that nature, because your plan or what you're going to respond and how you're going to respond it depends on what the attack was.
So should you have biosuits in your closet? I mean, is that where is protecting yourself and your family and going too far where, all right, or maybe there isn't a too far?
Well, there is. I mean, you just have to be prudent. But if you have a plan, if you know it was a biological attack or it was a chemical attack, you might want to be sheltering in place, and that's you want to have enough resources at the house, canned foods and plenty of water and that sort of thing, until the plume goes by and it's okay to go back out again. And these things will happen quickly if that's the attack. So the first and most important thing is, with the plan, is to understand what the attack is and how to respond. It's no longer a fire drill, hey, get out of the house and go out in the front yard. It's no longer like that.
Yeah, another thing you might prudently do is get yourself vaccinated against smallpox. Now, just picture this. These guys don't care if they die. If you're willing to blow yourself up, you're willing to let yourself be infected with smallpox. Now, you are virulently contagious, but there's no way to tell for days and days. And you put them on a plane. Now you infect 100 people on a plane. Those people go out and infect other people like that, and it's just horrendous.
Yeah, when was the last time people were inoculated?
Yeah,
for
I mean,
smallpox?
I was
60s.
inoculated, but it was so long ago
Yeah.
that it's doubtful that it would save me.
Yeah, I was as well, and obviously I'm much younger.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's no
but
longer
you for other reasons.
Yeah, but
probably going places where
we don't even wanna
inoculate
know.
him for all kinds of stuff.
That's another story.
We could try to make him talk. We do have mouse traps.
So many needles stuck in me.
Yeah,
But the inoculations now are no good against the new strains. So.
great. Another thing I got to worry about. They always goof on me around the show because
He's a germaphobe.
I'm the kind of batten down the hatches at the house kind of don't want to be a victim of a home invasion kind. Long Island. I live out in Nassau County, and there's been a lot of these home invasions.
I hope you've got a firearm.
Believe me, Mr. Liddy.
You'd be proud, Mr. Liddy.
I've picked up a
good.
couple of wonderful items from Wilson Firearms, one of which is my 12 gauge that sits next to the bed, and another one, a little fun down at the range, is the AR-15, which I just love, the EOTech site that you guys must be very familiar with.
Yeah.
I love those things, a holographic
Okay,
sight.
well, remember that you need sufficient loaded guns in the house, placed strategically so that the bad guys can never get between you and the gun.
Right. Hey, call Liddy a nut, Opie, Jimmy.
Liddy
They call
has
me
a
nuts all
reason
the
to
time.
think that way. You live on Long Island and do impressions.
Smart ass. He's always got to nail me.
I'm sitting here thinking, I can't even imagine having G. Gordon Liddy as your father.
Yeah, that's got to be something.
Was that a crazy upbringing or what?
That was unique.
Yeah.
That was unique, yeah.
Growing up?
Were you ever really scared of him?
No,
when you were
he's
going through
actually a very loving father.
Yeah, but I mean,
just dad to him.
Yeah, get your ass out there and become a Navy SEAL.
yeah, that kind of must be a little bit of pressure.
But I want to be a shock jock.
I kind of wanted to be a florist.
Actually, what he wanted to be was a drummer. He's got a hell of a good drum set.
Really?
And he's damn good at it, yeah.
Must be good at interrogations. Just play his head.
When did Dad say the drumming thing? It's cute, but
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't
I'm
really.
looking for you to do bigger and better things.
Actually, when I started, he was in prison, so it didn't bother him at all.
Yeah.
Wow.
How
you
old
have
were
to
you
go?
when that happened?
I was 11 when he went in and 17 when he came out.
Wow.
Man, did you visit a lot?
Yeah, but he was in 12 different prisons.
Yeah,
We get
yeah.
to see him only.
I used to get thrown out of prison.
Did you?
Yeah. I mean, it was the warden of one prison whose father had been a warden. It was a maximum security prison, and I got transferred in there because they said that I had shut down another prison with a strike, by myself, which was not true because I had help. At any rate, he put me immediately in the hole and said, I will not let this man be in the general population of this prison. He is far too dangerous. And then, we got a writ to get me out of there, and he wouldn't put me in the general population. He transferred me again.
Yeah, they probably don't want a guy like you spouting off to the population.
Well,
little
it's that,
influential.
but see,
Can you imagine?
I knew how
He's probably
vulnerable
sitting
they
there
were.
in the yard going, you know how easy it is to break out of
Yeah.
this place?
All right,
no,
people.
no, you know what? No, but
All right,
what
follow
it
my
would
lead.
be is I got in there, and I looked around, and I said, there's a tremendous criminal talent pool here. And all it needs is organization and leadership.
Yeah, and that's
Like
what they
recruiting.
don't want.
Yeah.
Not unlike the Manson thinking. There's going to be a war and the blacks will take over, and then there's going to be one white guy to lead. That was what Manson's thought process
all right,
was.
here's a picture that they might goof on me with. Why can't a guy take a picture proudly with some of his goods around the house?
Those look like perfectly good firearms. I mean,
are
I put out a
fun.
calendar every year with girls posing like that.
Well, I just wanted to show the guys here what I do at the house.
Just get Anthony
Just a
thong.
couple of the
He'll
toys.
be part of your calendar.
Those are fun down at the range. You go shooting down at the range.
I
with
think
those.
I think you actually showed that to these guys to keep them in line.
You're right.
Yeah.
You gotta let them know what you got, but not everything.
As
you
a
got.
Navy SEAL, do you find that pose intimidating?
no,
That's not the way he
take
would.
me out in a second.
Perfect positioning for the purse to hang off.
Look at me. That's a Dick Cheney pose right there.
Let's go to John in Alabama. John.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Hey.
Hey, man.
Jimmy, what's up, sweet box?
Hey, man.
G. Gordon, I had the pleasure of seeing you speak at Virginia Military Institute
Oh yeah.
graduation a few years ago, and man, you said something that day that I swear that absolutely was chilling, and it still kind of freaks me out. And I was hoping maybe you'd comment on it again. You were talking, and you said something was when all the shit was going down, and you said, "Man, you just tell me which street corner to stand on." And I heard that, and absolutely it really still kind of freaks me out. So I don't know if you remember that. And,
Yeah, well, I remember it because when I'm just being logical. Now look, I had in my head knowledge which could, like within 24 hours, bring down the entire government of the United States. And people have been killed for a lot less. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Now, it seemed to me that if they decided to do that, I certainly didn't want somebody sticking a shotgun in the kitchen window and they not only take me out, take out my wife and some of the kids or something like that. So I said, look, if you want to go that route, just let me know and I'll go to some convenient remote corner someplace.
Wow.
Where I was just protecting my family. That's all.
Yeah.
I got you.
Why didn't they kill you? I mean, you did have this information.
Well, I think they realized that I would not talk. I
Yeah.
never did.
Well, you didn't.
And there's
Spent
something
some time
hidden
in jail.
somewhere. There's something hidden somewhere.
What do you think?
There's
You think
some
there's still
kinda-
Watergate secrets?
there's
Are there any
some-
more secrets? No, everything's been out, right?
Yeah.
And I think I'm assuming anyway,
Well,
based
no,
on
let,
what
let
I
me put
know.
it this way: it's out, but most people don't know it. Most people have no idea what Watergate was all about, and all the evidence and that proves exactly what it was all about and everything is on file in a United States District Court clerk's office and everything. But the press doesn't even want to report it because it is not the conventional wisdom.
Did you know who Deep Throat was before he?
Deep Throat was and remains a composite. It was not. Look at this. Mark Felt, the one they are claiming now, he was the guy and everything. If you look at the book that they wrote, they say Deep Throat said that they are destroying, the tapes and so on and so forth. Mark Felt hadn't been in the FBI. It wasn't in the FBI for months before that happened. He was no longer in a position to have that information. They had a whole bunch of different people who were giving them information, and they created what was a very effective literary device. They lumped it all in one, called him Deep Throat, and it worked.
Uh-oh.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my God.
Uh-oh.
Someone's got to die.
Oh, no.
Let's see, where is this?
Who's calling G. Gordon Liddy?
Oh, no.
It's probably the most innocent of calls.
More importantly, that cell phone ring is not the tone you'd expect to be on his phone.
It came with the device.
You want to hear the Mission Impossible theme or something come out of there? Not that.
I'll put it on vibrate. Usually only women
do that.
put it on vibrate, but
Oh, boy. Mike the cop. Mike?
Hey, what's going on?
Mike's in the same league as you guys, by the way. He protects Madonna.
Hey,
True story, by the way. But
Gordon.
Yeah.
I was just listening. I tuned in late. What's your son's background? I was listening. I just caught the end of it.
He's right here.
He's right here. He was a captain of the United States Olympic Team South 1 year in the 1980s for the modern pentathlon, and he was the all-Navy modern pentathlon champion. And then he was the next time for water polo, and became a SEAL. Volunteered for the SEAL training, became a SEAL, and spent 20 years as a SEAL commando, serving in 37 different countries.
What's a pentathlon? That's
The modern pentathlon is jumping horses, riding skills, dueling with the épée, shooting, and swimming, isn't it?
And running.
And running, yeah.
It's being a man, Jim. Look into it.
What is he doing
Is
now?
checkers included? I'd love to join.
Right now,
Am I a
he's
faggot?
the chief executive officer of an outfit called Red Cell Associates, and what they do is for major industries, big corporations and what have you. What he used to do for the United States government, which was test the efficiency of the protection of national assets of the United States all over the world.
Oh, very
Yeah,
good.
it's big
Hey,
business
can you
right
get me
now.
his information?
What's that?
Huh?
Can you guys get me his information? I'm kind of in the same business.
Oh, yeah, sure. Hold on, Mike.
Sure. Just you
He's
got a
on
piece
hold.
of paper?
He's on hold.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll get him the info.
We'll take care of him. All right.
Well, G. Gordon Liddy, loved having you on, man.
Hey, man, his son.
You are a legend.
Well,
Jim wrote the book, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you knew what he'd been doing for 20 years, he'd be the legend.
Well, he's got time to be a legend. Right now, you're the legend.
Well, sometimes it's a pain in the ass being a legend.
Oh, tell me about it.
I know. You know how it is to drive through the transgendered community? Well,
And I never take pictures with anybody that comes in here, but I would love a picture with G. Gordon Liddy.
You got it. If you got a camera.
Right, man.
I was hoping he'd say
Liddy,
no.
everybody. Very good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.